Suspend your disbelief, your rational, analytic mind, just for a minute, just for the length of this podcast. What if all I am about to tell you is the truth? What if the information you will be provided is from a divine source? Just for this time, I am your Axis Mundi. Consider this podcast your channel, your second opinion. When I do a reading, something larger than myself is working through me. So ask what you wish. This is your channel, your doorway to the divine. Welcome everyone to today's episode. If you are new here, or if the word individuation is unfamiliar, don't worry, you're in exactly the right place. Individuation is a term from Carl Jung, but the experience itself is universal. It's the natural inner movement toward becoming who you truly are. Not the roles you inherited, not the expectations placed on you, and not the versions of yourself shaped by fear or survival, but the deeper self that has been quietly calling to you throughout your life. Most people begin this process during times of transition, a loss, a crisis, a spiritual awakening, a powerful dream, or simply the sense that something inside you is ready to grow. Individuation doesn't require you to fix yourself or become someone different. It asks you to remember who you are beyond conditioning and persona. It invites you to integrate the forgotten parts of your soul, your creativity, your truth, your shadows, your courage, and bring them forward in a more honest, more whole, more aligned way. What makes individuation so beautiful is that it's not a retreat from the world. It's the opposite. It's the discovery of your inner authority, your inner light, and your inner wisdom, so that you can move through the world with clarity and purpose. And in this journey, symbols become guides, dreams, synchronicities, archetypes, and yes, the tarot. They begin to speak more loudly because the psyche wants dialogue. They remind us that we are connected to something larger than our day-to-day concerns, that there is a deeper story unfolding. You may already be on this path without knowing it. If you felt a subtle restlessness, a longing for authenticity, a shift in your values, or a pull towards truth, these are the early signs. And if Sophia, the archetype of divine wisdom, has touched your life, then you are already being guided more gently than you realize. In today's episode, we're going to explore how tarot and symbolic language can support you on that path, whether you're just starting or are already well on your way. This journey is worth your attention because it leads you back to yourself. So take a breath, get comfortable, and let's step together into the deeper story of who you are becoming. This is my new direction of John's Tarot. I want you to know I'm not producing entertainment at this time. I'm producing initiation material. I'm producing a guided journey, not just a series of episodes. My first three episodes will be more on the introductory mode, just the basics, and we'll go into much depth much later. My first one, Individuation in the Tarot, I talk about that. My second one will be Sophia, the archetype of divine truth. And I will announce my third one next week. So sit back, enjoy, and join me on this journey of self-discovery with the tarot as a tool. Thank you. Welcome to John's Tarot, where insight, intuition, and Sophia's wisdom guide us through these uncertain times. Today, I want to take you on a deeper journey, one that Carl Jung himself might have recognized, the journey of individuation, and how the tarot mirrors this sacred path. Individuation is a process of becoming your authentic self, the unification of your conscious mind with your deeper hidden wisdom. And the tarot, especially the Major Arcana, is a symbolic map of that transformation. So let's explore how the cards reflect your personal journey towards wholeness. What is individuation? Carl Jung observed that most people live identified with their roles, their persona, but beneath that is the shadow, the inner opposite, and finally the self, the true core of who we are. Individuation is not becoming something new, it's becoming who you were always meant to be. It's a return to authenticity, a reunion with your soul. The tarot doesn't predict your future, it reveals your inner landscape. The symbols in the cards arise from what Jung called the collective unconscious, the deep reservoir of myth and archetype shared by all humanity. Each card is an archetype, a universal energy that lives within you. And when you pull a card, you're not glimpsing fate, you're glimpsing yourself. The Fool's journey mirrors the path of individuation. Let's walk through the major milestones. 1. The ego awakens, the Fool card. The Fool represents the beginning, innocence, openness, and the willingness to step into the unknown. This is the birth of the ego. 2. Persona and potential, magician, high priestess, empress, and emperor. These early cards show the development of identity, skill, intuition, structure, the building of your persona, your outer identity. 3. The shadow, the devil, the tower card. The shadow challenges you to face your fears, addictions, and attachments. The tower breaks the false structures of the ego. Shadow confrontation is painful but necessary. 4. Transformation. Death and temperance. Death is not physical. It is a psychological rebirth, the letting go of what no longer serves your soul. Temperance brings alchemical balance, the union of opposites. 5. Realization, the sun, judgment, the world cards. These final cards show emergence of wholeness, clarity, forgiveness, awakening, and completion. This is the self, the fully integrated you. I'd like to share a tarot spread specifically designed for the individuation process, something you can use at home to explore your inner landscape. Card 1, the conscious ego. Who am I right now? Represents your current conscious identity, attitudes, and self-image, how the ego understands itself, what to reflect on, what part of me is leading my life now. Am I living from authenticity or adaptation? Card 2, the shadow. What am I not seeing? Reveals the trait, wound, or fear you tend to repress or project. This card invites dialogue, not self-judgment. What to reflect on, what part of myself is asking to be acknowledged and integrated. 3. The persona. The mask I show the world. Shows the role, image, or identity you maintain for acceptance or survival. What to reflect on, where am I still performing instead of being? I often heard that report, am I a human being or am I a human doing? 4. The inner opposite, the anima and animus. This card shows the aspect of your inner opposite, that wants integration. For men, the anima, intuition, feeling, relatedness. For women, the animus, clarity, reason, spiritual will. What to reflect on, what inner quality can restore balance within me. Card 5. This is the higher organizing intelligence of your psyche, your inner wholeness. It shows that self is inviting you towards now. What to reflect on, what is my deeper truth or direction? Card 6, the task of integration. What must be unified? Shows the tension of opposites that need reconciliation, the current alchemical work. What to reflect on, what inner opposites must I hold together instead of choosing one? Examples, independence versus intimacy, intuition versus logic, self-expression versus safety. 7. embodied expression. How do I live in this world? How to channel your inner growth outward in relationships, creativity, service, or purpose. This is the gate of embodiment. What to reflect on. How can I live my truth in humility and impact? Individuation is not quick. It is not easy, but it is the most meaningful journey we can take. And the tarot offers us symbols that speak to our soul, guiding us through shadow, sorrow, joy, and finally into light of the self. Thank you for joining me today. May the wisdom of Sophia illuminate your path, and may your next step on the Fool's journey bring you closer to the truth of who you truly are. If you found today's exploration helpful, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And if you'd like me to create a reading based on individuation spread, let me know in the comments. Let's together take a look at the Path of Individuation tarot spread. My ability to read tarot is a gift. It's an expression of divine love. So I showed it to you on the video. Let's try it and see what I get as I look at myself and where am I at on the path of individuation. Where am I at on the path of individuation? My ability to read tarot is a gift and expression of divine love, and I'm here to share it with you in that same spirit. Where am I at on the path of individuation? Here in a cup. My first card will be the conscious ego. Who am I right now? What part of me is leading my life now? Am I living in authenticity or adaptation? This card will represent my current conscious identity, attitude, self-image, and how the ego understands itself. The ego understands itself as the Six of Wands, as being successful. What part of me is leading? I am successful in my nursing career. I've lived a successful, sober life. Am I living from authenticity? Yes. I am living it from authenticity. I am who I am. This is who I've always been. Especially with the production of these videos, this is authentic me. I thought I was rather strange for having these experiences, but it turns out that I'm not strange. I'm just awake, and I'm surrounded by people who mostly are not awake. But I have to be careful of my own ego, even though how does the ego see itself as successful? That I'm not involved with, my ego blindsiding me. And then my second card, the shadow, what am I not seeing? Reveals a trait, wound, or fear that you tend to repress or project. This card invites dialogue, not self-judgment. What part of myself is asking to be acknowledged and integrated? That is the Five of Wands. That mostly has to do with, and whenever I run into that card, it has to do with chaos. Is there chaos in my life? Trait, is that something I'm repressing? My life is not chaotic. What part of me is asking to be acknowledged and integrated? The fact that I'm not in control of everything. I'm not in control of anything. Things are happening in my life, and I just kind of do the best I can with the cards I'm dealt in life. This can produce chaos. 3, the persona, the mask I show the world, shows the role or image or identity you maintain for acceptance or survival. Where am I still performing instead of being? And I talked about this in a video. Am I a human being or am I human doing? The Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles, the mask I show the world. I don't know if that one is true. Or am I performing? I think that might be in my work. I work as an ICU nurse. Am I performing instead of being? That's something for me to think about. I try to bring authenticity to my work.
I try to bring the concept that it's not me doing these things, it's the universe working through me and the universe experiencing itself. And am I doing it just for the money? No, not really, not at this point. At this point in my career, yeah, I cash the checks. But the money is secondary. I'm in a secure financial position. Number 4, the inner opposite, the animus or anima. This card shows the aspect of your inner opposite and wants integration now. So for men, we have in us a female aspect, and for women, they have a male aspect. What inner quality can restore balance within me? So, if you deny these things, you're out of balance. The 9 of Pentacles, that's the grace card. So I just need to exude an inner grace and a grace and way of being, and accepting that what's been coming to me is what's meant to come to me. I've worked very hard to get to this place. And people wonder, how did you do this? Because I want to tell you, 36 years ago, I was a homeless guy. I was a homeless alcoholic, and I've changed dramatically. And especially people in recovery don't understand. I don't tell everybody this, but they may wonder, well, how did you get here? I worked very hard, and by accepting many things that I did not even know existed within me. So that is my inner opposite. And we're going to talk about Sophia next week. Card 5, the self, my inner guiding center. This is the higher organizing intelligence of your psychic, your whole inner wholeness. It shows what the self is inviting you towards. What is my deeper truth or direction? Justice. That is the card of karma, of balance, of my deeper truth or direction. What my shows that the self is inviting you towards. I've been doing very positive things with my life. I've been doing, and if you've been doing negative things with your life, you could expect negative outcomes. If you're doing things that repress growth, you could expect repressed growth. I've been doing things that support growth. And so positive things are happening in my life, especially in terms of my inner awareness. So it's guiding me to continue on that path. 6, the task of integration. What must be unified shows a tension of opposites that needs reconciliation, the current alchemical work. What inner opposites must I hold together instead of choosing one? The 9 of Swords. I'll put it up here. As I go for independence versus intimacy, intuition versus logic, self versus expression versus safety, it is a little anxious. It's been a bit of an anxious period of my life, and that I need to integrate how my life is changing. I'm at the end of my career rather than the beginning of my career, and there is some concern about where I go next, and I need to. And that anxiety, that is mostly inner anxiety rather than my outer reality, because the 9 of Swords usually represents anxiety, concerns, but these concerns are mostly mental and not really physical. And then the final card, embodiment, expression. How do I live in this world? How to channel my inner growth outward in relationships, creativity, service, and purpose. This is the gate of embodiment. How can I live my truth with humility and impact? The Queen of Swords. This is somebody who has to do it herself. And that is how it's always been for me. This has been something, this journey of individuation has always been a journey I've had to do myself. This has not been a journey someone has been able to do for me. It's always been a journey of having to do it myself, and I have to do the work. Now, just because I'm at a certain point of individuation, it's not over. It just continues, and I have to continue doing the work. So, for today...
Goodbye, Professor Marvel, and thanks a lot!
Well, it was my pleasure. I think on my podcast Tuesday, I'm going to talk a little bit about awakening. And what does that mean to awaken? What can you expect? And then my podcast for next week is going to be on Sophia as the archetype of divine truth. So until then, be careful, be cool, be kind, and have strength, find courage, have faith, and I will see you all next week. Okay, bye-bye.